would you take issue with a guy caring about body count?
I would only care if his body count was really high and he was somehow upset about my meager shit. But like, if I had a high body count, I would take issue with him being upset if he also had a high body count. However, if he was coming at me with a low normal body count and I had a high body count, I could understand him not being as interested in me because he feels that I have way more experience.
Yeah.
I think it's all about communication,
Right.
too.
See, you guys think that it's okay for guys to have a high body count?
It don't matter.
Well, it's a bit different.
Why?
Why?
Because
Such a double standard.
for men to get a woman, it's a challenge. For you to get a man, it's who wants it.
Okay.
Maybe that's just a you
but,
problem.
No.
However, wait,
It's not a challenge for
I have
me.
a very
It's not a
good-
challenge for me, my dear. I can
I have a
promise you
very
that.
good counter to that. The men who have the highest body counts are the most valuable, high value men. So they are more capable of getting women than other men. And that makes them on the same playing field as the women.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Let me just, okay, so it kind of comes down to this supposed, alleged double standard. Here's the difference though. Most women can sleep with most men. Most men cannot sleep with most women. An average woman has the equivalent, let's say, negotiating power or the equivalent pull as a famous male. As a male, to have the same pull with women that women have, that an average woman has with men, you must be famous. That's the power. You disagree. You could sleep with a new guy every single day of the week, if you were so inclined.
For the rest of your life.
Although I wouldn't say you're average looking, but I mean, an average woman, even a woman less attractive than you, could sleep with a new guy every single day of the week. In order to pull that off as a guy, you have to...
People can make those choices, but I wouldn't say most people are. Men or women.
Whether they're acting on it or not, Eric, by the way, can you open the door, please? Whether they're acting on it or not, it doesn't matter. The potentiality is still there.
My
Is that a
question
real
is,
word? Potentiality?
Let me look it up. I'll tell you what, if it is a real word, you have to, I don't know. If it is a real word, you have to do a fit check.
The whole...
It's a real word. Okay, fit check.
Potentiality?
Am I actually going to do a fit check?
We're actually doing a fit check.
Wow.
Here's the fit, y'all.
Wait, we didn't see it.
Woo!
Wait, a little spin.
A whole spin.
A whole spin. We gotta see a little
Get a
spin.
360 going.
Full spin. Turn over the room.
Oh, just scoot the chair back. That's fine.
Fit check.
Okay. The potentiality of that fit check was
Potentiality of the
She
fit
has
check has
high
been
fantastic.
potentiality.
Fantastical. Okay, anyways. I don't know where I was on there, but
What I want to know is why a man is going to be so concerned about a body count or decisions that a woman made prior to knowing him, because there's so many factors that could go into that. There could be childhood trauma, sexual trauma, so on and so on, that triggers promiscuity.
it doesn't undo. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it needs to undo, but why should that matter to decisions that you made prior to knowing somebody?
Okay, if you rob a liquor store at gunpoint, if you did it because you had childhood trauma, it doesn't undo the fact that you have just committed a felony and you're about to spend a lot of time in prison. So
Okay, but we're
just
not-
because the reasons, it doesn't undo.
Right, but if you serve your time, you do your therapy, you get
Okay.
Yeah.
You're taking the example there.
No, yeah, because your example is a bit stretched because we're talking about decisions made in the past. So say you meet a woman that served time for whatever crime that she did. She served the time, she's out, she's working a phenomenal job, she makes great money, she has a whole life ahead of her. Something that happened potentially when she was 18 or 19 does not reflect her success as a 20, 30-year-old woman.
Let's just use this example. Your future jobs are going to see that, and they're going to take that into consideration if they want to hire you.
Not always, because it depends on the industry. I
Am I
know
wrong?
I do have friends that have done time that are currently working six-figure jobs and up with criminal records.
Well, they're still taking it into consideration.
Yeah,
but clearly not enough if they're hiring them.
Well, there's plenty of scenarios where in this situation where having a criminal record can have some negative ramifications. The comparison I would make is, can you still be successful if you have an extensive criminal record and make a lot of money? Yes. Is it probably going to bar you for life from certain type of jobs? Yes. And correspondingly, if we kind of make the connection here, being promiscuous in your past may very well prevent you from a high value guy taking you seriously for a long-term commitment and wifing you. If you had a promiscuous past, a lot of men are going to look at that and say, I'm not going to take the risk. And let me ask you this question.
What risk is that?
Losing half your shit in 20 years.
Like
So,
cheating,
so you're
divorce.
correlating past promiscuity with gold digging.
No,
that's not what taking half the shit is.
They've actually done, there's been multiple studies on this. The more premarital sexual partners that you've had, the higher likelihood of divorce, the higher likelihood of infidelity, and the greater likelihood of reporting relationship and marriage dissatisfaction.
From just the woman's side or from a man's side too?
From both, but it's more pronounced in women. So for both men and women, the more premarital sexual partners you've had, it's a greater indicator for divorce, but it's more pronounced in women.
I think it was something like past 3 bodies, it drops. The chance of divorce goes up by 15%
Wasn't
or
it
more.
5? Remember 5?
It's either 3
I think it's
or
after
5.
6, that's when it's like a pretty major thing. But okay, let's talk about, how you
6
can
in
change.
your whole life?
Let me ask you a question though. You say you can change, right? Your body count, that's your past. Mm-hmm. Let's say you found out you're interested in starting to date a guy. You somehow find out, maybe he admits it, maybe you hear through the grapevine, that every single ex he had, he cheated on them. It's his past.
It's a pattern.
But are you going to take pause? Or, I don't know. If I heard about a girl and she cheated on every single one of her exes, she might not do it with me. She might not, but I'm not going to take that risk.
Okay, this is where I can understand what you're saying, and that's a great point. However, I would like to also say, so for example, the difference in making decisions like that when you're in a relationship as opposed to when you're single, I think that is also something to factor in. When you are single, you have the freedom to hook up with or date around or sleep with whoever you want. Maybe you have a really crappy dating history and I know a girl that falls very fast for guys and she sleeps with them fairly quickly, and most of them don't work out, but her body count went up fairly quickly.
What is it? What's her body count?
I don't know her exact number anymore, but when her and I were friends, at that point it was, I want to say, in the 70s.
Me right now.
Yo, send the asteroid. 70? God damn. Holy shit. Okay.
But she also, she
Wow.
prior to her having a large body count, she was in a long-term relationship and she was engaged, and she ended the engagement because she realized that's not somebody she wanted to be with for the rest of her life. That was prior to her ever having a large body count. That was, I think, her first 5 in her body count from what she told me.
So she went from being engaged with 5 bodies to 70 plus?
Yes.
And how has her struggle for finding a new potential husband been going?
She's now in a committed relationship of the past few years.
But see, that's the thing, is the exception doesn't make the rule. We need to keep that in mind. Just
Okay,
because
but
she got lucky and found somebody that she's
It's not
happy with,
lucky. It's I honestly
I'd say
I hate
dating
when
is pretty lucky at this point.
I mean, maybe to you, but it's a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. We can't. This is the problem with dating and stereotypes and statistics, is we're going off of, 70% of men this and 30% of women that. We can't do that when going into. It's like the same thing. If it's like you're taking your past hurt and trauma into every new date and relationships, you're never going to find somebody successfully if you're bringing this past hurt with you.
Well, let me just say one thing in defense of Cade here. There's no luck involved in Cade's romantic pursuits. Cade he's a sniper. He sees, he gets. No, but okay, so
Always on a mission. It's a mission.
I know I was going around the table on one question. I don't know if it was like the Who Pays